You think you know Japanese urban legends? Think again. Tonight, we're diving into the darkest ones you've never heard. Stories so terrifying, they'll stick with you. So grab some popcorn, turn off the lights, and stick around until the end, because the last story will for sure haunt your nightmares. The Silent Schoolgirl of Yanaka Cemetery. It's just before sunset, and you decide to take a shortcut through Yanaka Cemetery in Tokyo. The graves around you are old, some forgotten, and the quiet feels almost too heavy, like the air itself is watching you. As you walk, you start to feel it, a presence. It's faint at first, but the further you go, the more you're sure someone's there. Then, you see her. A schoolgirl. She's standing perfectly still among the tombstones, her long black hair hiding most of her face. Her uniform is clean, but her skin is pale, like she's been standing there for far too long. She doesn't move. She doesn't blink. She just stands there, staring at the ground. Most people would leave right then and there, but not you. You take one more step, and that's when it happens. You hear the sound of bells. It's soft at first, like a distant chime in the wind, but with each step you take, it grows louder. People who've seen her say the bells mean something terrible is coming. One man who heard them was found dead in his apartment just days later, with a single bell placed neatly beside his bed. So, the next time you walk through a cemetery, if you hear bells in the distance, turn back. It might already be too late. Mystery at the Mountain Hut. 4 friends decide to go hiking in the mountains during the winter. The weather gets worse and a blizzard hits. They're lost, freezing, and desperate when they find an old mountain hut. The wind howls outside, but inside it's deathly silent. There's no heat, no blankets, nothing to keep them warm. They know if they fall asleep, they might not wake up. So, they come up with a plan. Each of them takes a corner of the small room, and they decide to take turns running to touch the next person. That way, no one will fall asleep. One by one, they get up, touch the next person, and sit back down, repeating the cycle all night long. Hours pass, but the wind doesn't stop. The cold presses in, making every breath painful, but they keep running, moving from corner to corner, desperate to survive. Finally, the morning comes, and a rescue team finds them. They made it. They're alive. But later, when they talk about that night, one of them points out something. "Wait a minute," he says. "There were 4 of us, right? So how did the relay keep going? When one of us left our corner, that corner should have been empty." And then it hits them. There was a 5th person in the room. Someone, or something, was running with them through the night in that freezing hut, silently playing along with their desperate game. The last video. This story will make you wonder if fate can be sealed by something as simple as a recording. A man's best friend loved danger. He was a free climber, someone who scaled cliffs with no ropes, no safety gear, just his hands and a death wish. One day, before a particularly risky climb, his friend asked him to do something strange, record a video. He said it was for his family, just in case I don't make it back. The man thought it was morbid, but he agreed. In the video, his friend smiled and waved, saying goodbye to his wife, his kids, thanking his parents. "If you're watching this," he said, "it means I didn't make it, but don't worry, I'm watching over you." He seemed so calm, so at peace, even while saying goodbye. A year later, his worst fear came true. His friend died in a tragic fall. The man decided to show the video at the funeral, thinking it might give the family some closure. But when they played it, something was wrong. The screen was darker than he remembered. Much darker. A buzzing sound filled the room as the video played, growing louder with each word. And then his friend's voice changed. The calm smile faded. He started screaming, his voice cracking with fear. "I don't want to die. I don't want to die." Everyone in the room froze. The buzzing got louder, and then a hand appeared. It reached out from the darkness behind him, grabbed him, and pulled him out of the frame. The video ended with static. The man couldn't believe what he had seen. He took the video to a monk for a blessing. The monk watched the tape and said, "This man's fate was sealed the moment he recorded that message. Something already had him." The Red Crayon. A young couple finally buys their dream home. It's perfect. Great price, perfect location, everything they could ever want. But soon after moving in, something strange happens. The husband finds a red crayon on the floor in the hallway. He doesn't think much of it at first. Maybe the previous owner had kids. So, he picks it up and throws it away. But the next day, the crayon is back, in the exact same spot. He throws it away again. And again, it reappears. The same red crayon, always in the same place. Now, he's starting to get freaked out. He tells his wife, and she turns pale. She's been finding the same crayon too. Determined to get to the bottom of it, they start searching the house for any clues. That's when they realize something strange about the layout. There's a space that shouldn't exist. A section of the house that doesn't line up with the rest of the floor plan. They knock on the wall, and it sounds hollow. They tear down the wallpaper and find a hidden door. It's been nailed shut. With shaking hands, they pull the nails out and open the door. Inside, they find a small, dark room. The walls are covered in frantic scribbles, all written in red crayon. "Mummy, I'm sorry. Get me out of here. Mummy, please." Over and over, the same message, like someone had been trapped in that room for years. The red crayon? It wasn't just a toy left behind. It was a message. A plea for help that no one answered. The boy on the rooftop. The school is empty, the sky darkening as shadows stretch across the yard. A student walks towards the gate, the usual sound of life replaced by an unsettling silence. Just before stepping out, something in his peripheral vision stops him. There's movement on the rooftop. A figure stands at the edge of the building, arms raised, frantically waving. The boy can't make out the face. The sun is behind the figure, casting a long shadow, but the panic in the figure's movements is unmistakable. The boy squints, trying to see more clearly. Whoever is up there seems desperate. Trapped, maybe. Without thinking twice, the boy sprints back inside the school, heart pounding. He races up the stairs, the old building creaking beneath his feet. His mind is racing too. What if the boy on the roof is hurt? What if no one else is around to help? He bursts through the final door to the rooftop, ready to offer assistance. But when he steps outside, the rooftop is empty. There's no one there. Confused, the boy walks slowly towards the spot he had seen the figure. There's no trace of anyone, no sign that someone had been there at all. His skin prickles as a strange chill sets in, the kind that creeps into your bones when something isn't right. He looks over the edge of the roof, and that's when he sees it. Down below, on the ground, there's someone standing where he had been just moments ago. The figure is waving, arms raised just like before. And then it hits him. His stomach drops. The figure down below is him. The boy on the ground is an exact replica, same clothes, same face, same desperate movements. His mind spins, trying to make sense of it. Was he imagining things? Was this some kind of strange reflection? But no, it's real. It's happening. His other self is down there, looking up at him, trying to scream something, though the words don't carry. The boy's breath catches in his throat as panic sets in. His other self looks terrified, waving wildly, trying to warn him. Warn him of what? A cold sweat breaks out on his skin. He turns to leave, his body now shaking with fear. But when he turns around, the door he had just come through is gone. There's no stairwell, no way down. The boy's heart races faster, pounding in his ears. He's trapped. There's no way out. The rooftop stretches endlessly around him, the school below silent, the streets empty. The only sound is his shallow, panicked breathing and the faint echo of his other self's frantic screams. He turns back to the edge, staring at the boy below, still waving, still trying to communicate as if caught in a loop. And that's when he realizes the boy on the ground wasn't trying to get his attention. He was trying to warn him. He was trying to stop him from going up to the roof, but now it's too late. The boy is stuck, just like the others who came before him, doomed to stand on the rooftop, waving desperately to his past self, trapped in an endless cycle. And no matter how many times he tries to escape, the loop never ends. Train dream. Everyone has nightmares, but this man's dream wasn't like any other. It didn't feel like a dream, it felt like a warning. One night, he dreamed he was standing at an abandoned train station. The platform was dark, the air thick with silence. Suddenly, an announcement echoed through the station. "A train is coming. If you get on, you will have a terrible experience." He should have woken up. He should have left. But something inside him was curious. He wanted to see how bad it could be. So when the train arrived, he got on. Inside, it wasn't like any train he had ever seen. It looked more like a roller coaster with open cars. There were only two other passengers, a man and a woman, both sitting still, their faces pale, eyes cast down. They didn't say a word. As the train started moving, an eerie purple light lit up the cars. Then, an announcement came over the next speaker. "Next stop, slicing, slicing." Before he could react, small creatures, dwarfs, appeared from nowhere. They swarmed the man in the last car, slicing him open with knives. He screamed, his body torn apart. His organs fell to the floor, but the woman beside him didn't even flinch. The next stop was gouging out. Two of the creatures went to the woman and began gouging out her eyes with jagged spoons. She screamed in agony as her blood poured out. And then the final announcement came. "Next stop, mincing, mincing." The creatures turned toward him, holding a tool that buzzed with a horrible sound. He begged to wake up. He begged for it to stop. And just as they reached him, he woke up, gasping for air. But the nightmare didn't end there. 4 years later, the dream returned, and this time, the creatures didn't stop. They were coming for him. As he tried to wake up again, he heard a voice whisper, "You escaped before, but next time, you're finished." I hope you enjoyed these stories from the dark corners of Japan. Which one scared you the most? Let me know in the comments below.